Silence your phones. Okay. Hello! Welcome to the Sun Dragon Sideshow.
The Dear Becky and Lizzy edition.
'Cause
Yes,
it's
I had
Thursday.
to quickly go through all of them
Well,
in my head.
I'm losing track of the days because I went to the gym yesterday and I went last week on Thursday. So I was like, it's Friday. No, it's not Friday. Hi, I'm Rebecca. I'm the owner of Sun Dragon Art and Fiber in kind of cold and I don't know if clammy is the right word, but colder. We're heading towards fall, Brevard, North Carolina.
I'm Liz. I'm the minion there. It's going to be like 10 degrees warmer than yesterday. Which,
I wouldn't have guessed that when I got up this
yesterday
morning.
was like 65.
So, I went to the gym yesterday and picked up some fast food on the way home, whatever. And by the time I got home, like 7-ish, it was starting to get dark.
Yes.
It is that time of the year.
Yes. And Bernie goes,
sadness and
we're
despair.
Close to falling back yet.
So, might have to start leaving my porch light on for myself. We'll see. But so yes, it is the Dear Becky and Lizzy edition. We have maybe like half of a question from last week. And then I have lots of stories and things, but maybe we should do the. Why am I feeling bruised there? I don't feel like the cat bit me over there.
Did you bump into one of our twisty rocks?
Probably. That happens all the time. So we will address the question, and then I have silly stories to tell, and I have I'm so glad you put your ringer on.
No.
I have things we can show you and talk about, just kind of, because we'd like to give you a decently sized episode. And then we'll say goodbye for the weekend. But so what's the question?
It's the second half of a question from last week.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just going to read the second half of the question. So I want to make socks, but I don't like going smaller than a 4mm needle. Will I have bigger or more holes in them when they won't look as good? Should I wait and practice on smaller needles first?
It really depends on what you're looking for when you make a sock. I mean, you brought out some examples of stuff that we're going to talk about, but it's like if you want a sock that will fit into your shoe, that is one thing. Why don't we start with you had like
I have examples.
You have props.
Well, because I don't like knitting with smaller needles.
I do.
I know. And what I know in theory about socks, and I've made a pair of socks, but what I know in theory is you want to go smaller and tighter with your needles than what the yarn kind of calls for, to where it's the tighter they are, the longer they're going to last.
Yeah, the better they're going to wear.
Yeah. Looser stitches can wear out faster.
And you can feel them on your feet a little more.
Yeah. So I have started socks in this. I've not finished these socks. I made my own sock yarn. And when I say made my own, I took 3 strands of sock yarn and held them together and did them on a size 4 needle. And they were pretty...
And a 4 is a 3.5mm. Yeah. So if the writer is saying she doesn't like to go smaller than a 4mm, then this stuff is better. So this is worsted weight.
Yes.
And I made this one you pulled, you're like, ooh, pumpkin patch, ooh. Yeah. And so it's self-patterning, it's sock content. By that we mean it's like a washable wool and nylon in it. The nylon kind of adds from saggy socks and adds to how they wear. The old brand was Euro Yarns Baby, but it's not meant for babies, and that was confusing. So Knitting Fever rebranded them with Queensland. So the old ones look like this, the new ones look like that. They changed the color palette slightly. So once these are gone, they're gone. Those are the new ones, but it's the same stuff basically. I made what I thought would be hiking socks because it's thicker, so they may not fit in regular shoes, but I was like, ooh, hiking, you need thicker socks. So I made socks out of this, and they self-pattern. It's so cool. For my family, for the adults in my family one year, and my dad wears them as house socks. It doesn't wear them in regular shoes, but still gets good life out of them. He's been wearing them for years, and he still loves them. I made them like this calls for like a 7 to a 9 regularly, so I made mine on 6s. I don't know if what size.
7 to 9 is the same. They're one of the patterns that I use. It's for worsted weight socks, and you can go to Ravelry and type in worsted weight socks, and get all kinds of patterns. And it called for a size 5 needle, and I bumped that down to a 4 because I want tight
and
socks.
I knit on 0s because I'm crazy and I love it, and I like the tight feel. And I also like, you're supposed to have socks with negative ease in them. By that we mean like smaller than your foot, not by a ton, but if you make them to perfectly fit your foot, they will stretch out like instantly when you start wearing them. Yep. So a little tighter is better. You don't want to cut off your circulation or anything, but it's like almost like compression socks. You want
the
them
stretchy mittens that when you buy, or gloves, when you buy them at the store, they're like, it's big, and then you put them on and they're like perfect.
And that takes some trial and error. So like your first set of socks may not be perfect, but the Ready Set Socks book that we carry has versions of all the socks in here. It has instructions for fingering weight like I'm making, or DK, which is bigger. I want to see, I'm just going to see what they say for the DK, what size needle. They recommend a 3mm. So that's not pushing this person too far out of their comfort zone to go from a 4, like if they don't like smaller than a 4mm, a 3mm will still work. But I wouldn't make fingering weight socks on a bigger needle because that's what you're comfortable with. I would choose a thicker yarn and to make the stitches work better and not be too gappy and stuff like that.
Well, and for a first pair of socks, sometimes to look at stitches and how you do stuff, sometimes it's easier to go with a non-superwash, like a chunky yarn, and make like a pair of house socks or something, because A, it's kind of a little faster, but B, you can see all of your stitches and get comfortable with the sock construction.
Yeah, I've done sock classes where we're starting people on the teeny tiny yarn, and it takes a while. So, and I used to teach on chunky yarn, not a real sock, but just bang, bang, bang through the basics of what goes into sock construction. So yeah, making thicker socks, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just those aren't going to fit in your shoes. Those will be better for house socks, for that kind of thing. But it's very doable to do, right?
Yeah.
So,
oh yeah,
I feel like there were other things I was going to say, and it's gone now.
I know. For me, I have to do thicker socks because I don't wear shoes. I mean, I do, but I don't. And
in case the microphone didn't pick that up, she said she doesn't wear shoes, at least not around the shop.
No. So, like, I might make a pair of worsted weight socks, but I know that I'm going to be running around in my stocking feet all the time. Like, so I'm going to wear through socks way faster than,
That's true too.
A person who wears shoes. So I want them as tight, and like I look for all the durableness.
Roving gangs of sheep rather than merino.
Yeah, I want them to at least
give
them a fighting chance.
Yeah. So I'm with you on that.
Tail of alpaca or cashmere socks.
I've seen those sold online.
Yeah.
I haven't actually, like, we have alpaca and nylon yarn here, fingering weight. Technically, you could make socks out of that. I have never tried. I'm currently making a knit top out of that. I think that's awesome.
I would be weary of soft fibers and socks. Like somebody that is in the bed or not walking around all the time.
Somebody in the bed.
Well,
Somebody's in my bed. No.
I could see wearing or making socks that are like super, super, super soft but your feet are never going to touch the floor kind of thing. Like the moment you put friction on those socks, you're
Yeah,
going to be
I wonder with the alpaca socks, like maybe there's a higher nylon content, or it's blended with something. Like the ones I see online, I have no idea. I haven't actually investigated. Oh, I just blew through. This is why I shouldn't probably be knitting while we do this. I need to decrease here. Da, da, da. I'm doing my heel gusset right now. Did we address everything in the question, do you think?
So.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna finish this needle then and put them down. Oh, but I'm really excited related to socks, because we got back in our Katrinkles DPN holders. So I'm experimenting with the little, spring-loaded guys, and we might start carrying them at the shop. They will be our own packaging for them. But I'm really excited. We had a Katrinkles order come in, and I got some of this stuff up online. The price has gone up a little since we last ordered our DPN holders, but they're still they're under $10.
We have both the blue and the yellow ones in stock.
Yes, and I put one. I got to see if I can find it. I grabbed one of the blue ones. I ordered extra blue ones because they're my favorite. But they probably ended up in the bottom of this somewhere. I thought they were in here. One of the issues with finding them right now, oh, there it is I have a hot mess of pulled out yarn in here, which I'll show you in a second. I've actually knit back through at least half of it. So these guys, I love them. So these are my favorite for, instead of having to like squish them all together and jam this on them. I want to say it might be like $8.95 now for these. Check it out online. I think it's still an awesome deal for. It's a bungee cord with caps, and I'm gonna put all. I lined up my spare one in here. I'm gonna put all in one end, and just go stretch, whoop, da da, and it fits. This is the 6-inch one. And you can customize this. If you wanted it a little tighter, you could totally find the end where the knots are and put the knot in a little tighter. But this is just perfect because it's not going to fall out of this. You're going to keep all your double points together. If you are a double point knitter, some people prefer 2 circulars, and that's lovely. But if you're a double point user, this can be fantastic. So we got those back in. We have so many cute things. We didn't bring them over here to show off because maybe we could show them off on Tuesday. The phone just rang once. That's interesting. I notice weird things. While we're speaking about gadgets, I'm so excited we have these in the shop now. And we've been burning through them with that sale we had, which is ending at noon today. I don't know when this video is going to get up. But they're still an awesome deal at full price, I think, because they're amazing. These are the Lumos lights, and the first order came in really fast. So if we start running low and I have to order again, we may be out of stock for a little bit, but we shouldn't be out of stock for long.
I got one yesterday, and
did you play with it last night?
Well, I took it home. I didn't play with it. I tried to get Bernie to play with it, but he didn't. Anyway, I was like, hey, this is going in our, prepared. Power goes out, whatever. I said, and you could use it for your gardening, or you need a little bit more light. And Bernie's like, yeah, I was looking at Rebecca's yesterday, and they're kind of cool. Bernie doesn't think anything in the shop is cool. He was like,
"There's so many people can use it." Yarn Baby commented on my post yesterday saying it's good for plane flight travel too.
Yeah. And one of our knitters, she has like 5 of them. She's bought over time,
and they weren't the same price. Yeah. These retail for just under $50.
But she has like one in the bedroom, one in the living room, one in her basement where they live, where there's tornadoes and thunderstorms, and she keeps one down there just in case, she's knitting in the basement and has to have.
This morning I was like, oh, I gotta bring my Lumos light in. Yeah. So this is the cute little box it comes in. I'm gonna do kind of an unpacking here. And this is the light. I'll show you in a second. We've got how to use tips and tricks, and it comes in a little baggy thing that is in here. But then charging cord. It's a mini USB to a USB So if you have a brick to charge at home or you have a power strip that has the USB in it, you are good to go. It's kind of how everything comes now, though, I think. It's like with this USB charger, right?
Yeah.
And it says on it, happiness can be found even in the darkest of times if one only remembers to turn on the light. Albus Dumbledore. So I think that's just cute. So yeah, it's like if you wanted to, I have never tried this, but the picture has it like, oh look, you can stand it up on the table. But the whole idea of it is this back part is the battery where you charge it, but then you can put it on like this and you can like adjust it to be just how you want. And I don't want to blind you guys, but each one has a power button. So I turn on this one and I turn on this one. So you could turn on only one if you wanted to. And again, I usually have them up so it can be like on my knitting like this. I love that these, you can have them at weird angles. But then you push once, like there's 2 light bulbs in there. If you push and that one more time, it goes to just the warm light. And if you push one more time, it goes to just the cool light. And then it goes off. And you can see there when they're off, there's 2 bulbs in there. The other thing I think is cool, so let's go to so when they're both on, you get a lot more light. Let's go like just the warm ones and one at a time. So if you hold it down, it will dim. You can kind of see that, and it'll blink to let you know that's as dim as it gets. And then you have to let go and hold it again, and then it gets brighter. And it will blink again to let you know that's as bright as it gets. And I think once you hit the brightest spot, it stops. It won't keep going like zoo, zoo, zoo. So, but then yeah, you got to go through the cycle to get them off. But I don't know the battery life of them. I haven't put that to the test yet, but I haven't charged it since I got it. I used it last night to have a little extra light in front of me when I was knitting in front of the TV. And I just think they're the coolest thing ever. We have the Beam and Read, which is a big like battery pack with a light that flips up at the end, and we have loved those. That has more of a wide spread of light, and you have lenses you can put on top of it to change the color.
It has the red.
It has the red one, which we have a knitter who is a police officer, and she uses that to not ruin her night vision if she's on night patrol. So that's kind of cool. This one doesn't have that, but you can turn it on to the yellow light, which is supposed to not, like, it's not as bright if you're, say, next to someone who's driving. And it also there's no blue light in that, so that's maybe better for knitting before bed, because the blue light is supposed to disrupt your sleep or like potentially keep you up later. Anyway, I think these are so cool. Look at the reach and look at the flexibility. It's just like, wee, you can make a sculpture out of it. But yeah, if the power goes out, like, this could be a great present for someone who's not a knitter. It really is like the package is advertised for knitters, right? But someone who needs to work on their car and needs to see in there,
and it's just really bright. I was also thinking, like, my treadle sewing machine, it has one little LED strip, but sometimes it's not bright enough on the front, so I could focus light when I'm sewing and need to,
And it doesn't have to go around your neck. You could find somewhere else to put it, but it's really great when you need light. And I'm thinking about with the Beam and Read, we have people with macular degeneration who the Beam and Read is down here. You could use this for reading too, by the way. But you might be able to focus them up higher, because a lot of people that have those issues need the light up. They need the knitting up closer to their face. This is also great even if you have a well-lit room. If you have dark yarn,
yes,
this is gonna show you your stitches better, that kind of stuff. And I just think it is the coolest thing. I'm so happy that we've started carrying them, and I'd like to continue. We have all kinds of other gadgets. We are running out of the maker's clips at a fast pace, and I will try to bring more of those in. I want to show you how my knitting when I change my color dominance is going. And then I have a silly story about my cat. Again, apparently we're not going to do so much the mice stories. I haven't seen a lot of mice in my house, which is a good thing. But I have one more story about my cat, and then we may take off for the weekend because we have so many packages to pack. Thank you all for your purchases. we will get them out as soon as we can. It's a lot.
I'm going to go out on a limb, and just for everybody who's bought packages yesterday and today and tomorrow, they'll go out on Saturday morning because I know that I'll have a Bernie.
Oh, because you'll have Bernie. Okay.
So
if they don't get out before then, that's when they'll go out, and that's probably when they will. We'll try. But sometimes, because Carol is traveling, and we wish her well. We hope she's having a lot of fun. She is the one who usually takes packages for us, and if she's not here, it's either Bernie took a bunch yesterday, and I go when I can. If there's off time during the day, or like say Friday we don't film, but Saturday there's a really short window when the post office is open, and we've already opened the shop, and I have a big lesson. So yes, so that if we have a third set of hands here, then yes. So I told you all on Tuesday I was probably going to rip back, and I did on my Koivua, and the mountain of rip out, I did not ball it back up. I just left it as a nice little pile on the table. And I've been carrying it in my bag back and forth. And so far, apart from little tangles, nothing monstrous, I've been knitting off of that. And it was in the morning meditation for 2 days in a row now, because I need to catch back up with myself, and B, it's been fun to show y'all how it's going. I'm really liking the color, like how the veins pop. In this. I'm really glad I went back and changed which hand I was holding which color in.
Oh yeah, it pops way more.
It shows off. Like, go back and watch Tuesdays of me showing it on, trying it on. Let's get the language right here. I'm almost through everything I ripped out. There was I ripped back to here. I ripped back to right before the white was doing veining in the leaves type of thing. And I'm really happy with it.
It is way noticeable.
Mm-hmm. Like I realized, I was saying to Liz yesterday that this sweater that I'm wearing, I don't think I changed the color dominance to try to make the purple like details pop in here. And I think when I was doing this section, I even was like, I'm worried it's gonna just suck in and not be noticeable. I love how this sweater turned out. It could have looked nicer if I had swapped. I think I always held the contrast color in my left hand when I did this. It still turned out just fine. This might settle just fine over time, but I'm happy that I'm playing around with it and trying it out.
It's nice to know.
Yeah. And this is fun. And because it freaks people out.
Oh yeah. I would say, like, overall, especially if you're a new knitter or a new color work knitter, it ultimately both look gorgeous.
Mm-hmm. It will be fine either way. Yeah.
But it can be fun to play around with that, going,
huh. So I'm really happy. I had people both on virtual sit and stitch and in comments on these videos say, maybe you want to do a swatch and test first. And I just went, whoop. I was like, I don't have time for this. I'm just going to testing is always a good idea. I just had a gut feeling that since I was playing with that, the golden fern that I showed you all off the other day with my 2 sleeves, I was looking at it with a class, and I'm pretty sure that's why it looks so different. It's just which hand I was holding the yarn in, because the tension is not super crazy different between the two. I probably could have been fine if I left it the way it was, like if both sleeves had the reverse color dominance by accident. But I'm happy. I'm happy I made the decision. Now that's the sweater I'm supposed to be at sleeve separation on by Saturday for Saturday's class. And I have it up here.
Thursday, Friday. She'll get there, but she also has the blanket.
Well, okay, and I wanted to show this off because this is being gifted on Saturday, so this is my last chance to show y'all on Sit and Stitch on Tuesday. I got up to all I have left, and I've done like 1 or 2 rows. All I have left on this is the seed stitch at the top.
That looks so cool.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
And so I only have like 12, 13 rows to go. And I got a lot of this part done during Sit and Stitch. So I think even just to Friday Sit and Stitch, I like to live dangerously, have we said. I think I can finish this during Friday Sit and Stitch. So I'm probably going to focus on my yolks. I feel like I'm making scrambled eggs. And then work on this on Friday. But I brought it in just in case. And I also want to show it to you all. That is Piece of Home by 5410 Studio. And I'm using Plymouth Hot Cakes. So the striping in that is in the yarn. I'm not changing colors. I'm using about two 200-gram cakes of yarn for that blanket. Now, to send you all off to the weekend with a silly story, I told Liz this on the drive up. My cat and my coffee, I told you about before. So, yesterday, the cat woke me up at about 7 because I forgot to set my alarm. He came in and annoyed me, and I knew it was time to get up.
And 7 is late for the cat.
Yeah, so he came in to kind of nudge me at 6 and then went away. And then at 7 decided it was time to complain. So thankfully he got me up in time to get to work roughly on, on time / late, but late is on time for me. So, so last night, I hear him start to complain and I'm thinking, I set my alarm. It's not time to get up yet. I look at my timekeeping devices on my bedside table, which is my watch and my phone, and it's 4:30 in the morning, but he's really complaining, but it doesn't sound like he's sick or anything. So he's meowing his head off, but not in a way that makes me think he's, in distress, shall we say, or like he's about to upchuck or whatever. So I was like, come on, cat. I just kind of said, really? I have more time to sleep. I need to sleep. And I went back to sleep. And my alarm goes off at 6. And I swing my legs over the bed and get ready to stand up. And I don't have my glasses on yet. So, everything is just complete blur. And I'm just like, there is something over by the door that shouldn't be there. What is going on? And it's square. And I'm like, it kind of like in my blurry state reminds me of a pillow, of a throw pillow. This is my bedroom upstairs. My throw pillows are downstairs. And I put my glasses on, and sure enough, it's a pillow about this big, and it's sitting on the floor, and I'm like, do I have ghosts? What is going on? It's a pillow. It's the pillow that I spilled coffee on downstairs that I left on the floor because I didn't want it. Like, I tried to soak the coffee out of it. I think I could probably throw this in the wash and be okay. It's like a pillow form with a knit pillow pattern cover thing I made for it years ago with little baubles. It's like all baubles. But I sewed it onto the pillow. So it's not like a removable cover I can wash. So when I spilled coffee all over it, I soaked out as much coffee as I could. And I think there was still coffee in it. So I left it on the floor to like dry and do whatever it was going to do. And I'm like, what is it doing upstairs? Like, how did this happen? And then my brain started to put pieces together, and I noticed that there was a loop hanging off, about this big, pulled off the side of it, and I went, oh, oh no. My 14-pound cat must have drugged this thing. I bet he got his claws because he probably on the floor. He likes to go into my knitting bags I leave on the floor. He likes to do making biscuits or digging into my knitting stuff. And this is ancient knitting stuff, but it probably smelled interesting because there was coffee on it. He must have gotten his claw stuck. And he dragged this all the way up the stairs. This is not a small flight of stairs.
No, and it's not an easy, it's pretty steep set of stairs.
It's like 3 or 4 3 stairs, a landing, and then like 12 stairs up, and then around the corner to my bedroom. And it's like he got himself free, thank goodness. But I'm like, I think I'll start trying to pay more attention. Usually he's just annoying me, and I think he really needed help last night, and I didn't know.
But he wanted to cuddle extra with you this morning.
Yeah, so. Well, he wanted his normal cuddle time, and I needed to get into work. And he's like, no, I want to lie in your lap. So he's not angry and not talking to me or anything. But, I think last night is already a distant memory where he's just going to be freaked out by pillows now or something. But I was like, and this sweater, I'm pretty sure I left this sweater right behind me on the the couch. I'm like, words, bleh, on the couch. And so I sit here and the cat sits here and he's got a divot depression in the couch where he sits. And this sweater was over on his side this morning when I went downstairs. So he must have been having fun last night with all the knit stuff. I don't see any damage on this, but I think he was probably going like this and he pulled it over to try to make a little bed for himself. And then somehow he got stuck on the pillow. I feel so bad for him. But I'm also laughing. Poor Avi. And I went to go, like, so this morning I was just like, are your claws okay? Like, he's not declawed. Someone asked that the other day. That's how all this happens. But he doesn't ruin my knitting. Usually anything that happens, I get annoyed, but it's usually fixable.
He's really, really good with.
Yeah, I mean, he'll pull at stuff.
Not really, really good. He's good with yarn.
Like, yeah. He doesn't try to eat too much. He'll chase things when, you know, there's strands around that I pull on. But that's a normal instinctive thing to do. His claws, though, I never trim them because it's too hard because he doesn't like me touching him around his claws. So they, you know, have little split ends sometimes because he just gnaws on them. That's how they get trimmed. So he gets stuck in stuff. But I went this morning. I'm just like, are you okay? You know, did you rip something out? Did you like hurt yourself? He's walking around fine. He's not favoring any paws. He's not looking at like anything is damaged. He's just a cat. And somehow he's a cat that drug a pillow this big.
As big, like, as his body is, not as heavy.
Not as heavy, but, like, I'm just trying to imagine, like, because usually when he gets stuck on stuff, he runs really fast. And I'm trying to imagine him running around the house with this huge pillow stuck off of him.
It would be really, like, to have a camera or whatever. Because it's like, was it on your back foot, so you're 3 foot running? Or was it on your front?
Was he doing like this? And he was like, up the stairs? But he made it up the stairs. I have no idea if it took him multiple tries to get up the stairs, if he got up really fast. I don't remember hearing any running. I just remember hearing him complain. So I will try to pay more attention when he's complaining in the middle of the night. He might actually need some assistance. And I will let you all know. I will keep you updated.
I mean, this is completely opposite of when there's a mouse in your room and Avi's like, yeah, I'm good.
He's just like, eh. All right, we need to go set up for the day. I have the second part of a continental knitting lesson today. And we have virtual sit and stitch tomorrow night, 7 to 9 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. Get in with the shop phone number on Zoom.
828-877-3550.
And we will see you there if you decide to come. So our next Sunday one is going to be in November 12th, I want to say. So October is just too crazy. Ooh, the sun's coming out. That makes me so excited. Okay. Yay. We will see you all later. Have a great weekend if we don't see you at Sit and Stitch. And
like, subscribe, ring the bell, all the fun stuff.
We hit 1,700 subscribers, which was really, really cool. Let's keep going. If you haven't subscribed, please consider it. We have Patreon if you'd like to support us with a monetary donation for all the work we're doing here, but subscriptions on YouTube are free. So, and another way to support us is buy yarn or take lessons when the virtual lessons come up, all that kind of stuff. But thank you so much. We'll see you later. Bye.